Hello, everybody, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. How are you? I hope you are all doing well. Uh, I hope that you like that little intro. It's been sitting there, and I thought, well, it's St. Patrick's Day, a bit of crack. So I decided it'd be a great time to use uh, Lee's wonderful trailer. Um, Absolutely fantastic. Uh, Hope yous are all well. Um, and It's been a bit of a weird St. Patrick's Day. Obviously, everything has been virtual. And Yeah, it's been a strange one, all right. There's a drone now. Obviously, they did make some effort. There was a drone show last night. They obviously have recorded it for TV. They'll be showing that later on, so I have it actually recording because it looks spectacular. It's at least they did something, and it kind of went off without a hitch. There was a couple of protests, but nothing. There was only a couple of arrests or something. But it went off. Well, it's still early, I suppose, though. But so far, it's went off without a hitch. And that's good to hear. That's good to hear. We do have a super chat from Chris Persia, our head moderator. A $5 Canadian super chat. Happy St. Paddy's to my favorite Greek geek and everyone in here. Nice, nice. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all you guys as well. Um, Absolutely. Yeah, it's been, as I said, it has been it's the second St. Patrick's Day we haven't been able to celebrate. Actually, what did I do that for? Leave that up there. But you make the best of it, don't you? You just make the best of it. Yeah, as I said, an interesting day. I've been obviously last night. I was listening to a lot of Irish music last night, as I always do. It's the one thing that I actually do, and I like to watch the old movies that they throw up. Darby O'Gill and the Little People. It's basically a story about this old man, and he's trying to catch the Leprechaun King, and there's banshees in it and stuff. It's quite, when you were a kid, it was quite frightening. It was one of those things that you just grew up in Ireland watching. It was a kind of a staple, but it's over the years. Obviously, that's changed. They don't show it as much as they used to, which is sad because I like all of those Irish movies. You've got The Snapper, The Commitments, movies like that, The Van. So, they don't, besides the parades, obviously there was no parade this year. And they're not really normally that great, but because we haven't had one in 2 years, it's kind of like, you would have loved to see one done, but obviously with the restrictions that was impossible. But yeah, it's been, for Irish people, it's been a quite low key St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully next year we will be able to celebrate it. And I reckon it'll probably be the most celebrated one because it's been 2 years. But I reckon there'll be a lot of celebration around the whole country if we do get to celebrate it eventually. But yeah, it's, as I said, one of those weird days. So for anybody that doesn't know who St. Patrick was, he's the guy who's credited for getting rid of the snakes in Ireland. But obviously, in reality, it was the fact that we had it's the fact that we had a colder climate. So, but that's the legend. And he's not an official saint, but everybody gets into the spirit of it. It's nice. Do you know what I will say? If it does fill me with pride when I see buildings around the world and world leaders, put a bit of shamrock on, and buildings around the world, like the Sydney Opera House turns green, the Eiffel Tower turns green. So and other countries around the world. So St. Patrick was a 5th century Romano-British Christian missionary and bishop in Ireland, known as the Apostle of Ireland. He is the primary patron saint of Ireland. The other patron saints being Bridget of Kildare and Columbia. It's mad because he was born in Britannia. He died in the UK, and he was buried in Down Cathedral, Downpatrick, United Kingdom, according to this. So he's a bit, it's one of those, isn't it? Every country has their own saint. Interesting, like. So here's a couple of quick facts, right? Did you know Patrick is known to have incorporated pre-existing Irish beliefs and symbols into his teachings about Christianity? Shamrocks are associated with Patrick because he may have used shamrocks to explain the Christian Trinity. Patrick may have brought the Latin alphabet to Ireland. And legend says that Patrick cast out all snakes in Ireland, though many scientists hold that snakes never existed in Ireland. Well, we do have snakes in Ireland. We call them Irish politicians, So, he didn't do his job well, if you ask me. So he's born in Britain of a Romanian family, it looks like, a Romanized family. At the age of 16, he was torn by Irish raiders from a villa of his father. Wow. See, here's the thing about Irish people. There will be some people that know the whole history of this lad, right? But most of us, we St. Patrick is St. Patrick's Day is just basically a day to let our hair down. There's a lot of misconceptions around the world that we spend 7 days a week drunk and wrecking the place. That's not true at all. It's just one of those untrue stereotypes. I'm not going to sit here and say we don't enjoy a good time. We do, like everybody else. I mean, we're no different. Maybe we can drink a lot more. Maybe that's a thing. But other than that, we're like everybody else. Irish people, I will have to say, work very hard. So sometimes they do play hard. Nothing wrong with that. I reckon there's in different parts of different countries, societies, there's people like that. They work hard and they play hard. Nothing wrong with that at all. Do us a favor. We've got 27 people watching right now. If you could like the stream, that would be absolutely fantastic. And what you call it? Right. Yeah. So what I'll do is actually I'll bring a few people on if you just want to come on and have a bit of a chat. Obviously, I won't be staying on too long, but we'll go for an hour and see how it goes, and we might go a little bit more than that, but we'll say an hour, but obviously it might go a little bit more. But if you're interested in coming on, let me know, man, and you know, I'll bring you on. But let me know. I'll send the link to you privately. I'm not going to throw the link in the live chat. So yeah, all I'll say is that you know, it's been one of those days where it's not the same. I mean, look, everybody is sick of this lockdown business, but you know, it's you know, some people will say it's not for the greater good and it's political. That's fair enough. If you hold those beliefs, I'm not going to knock you. But for me, I believe it's for the greater good, and hopefully, then we'll be able to celebrate many St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, if you want to come on, let me know. So that'll be yeah. So that's all. Yeah, really, that's what's happened today. There's been nothing much. I even thought today, even in this apartment complex, there would be a few parties kicking, but no, as I said, it's been very low key, and you know, they've had a lot of Irish music on the national station all day. Live concerts actually going on, but obviously all socially distanced, and like they're basically in a studio with no audience, and they're basically got a cameraman there. I assume that's filming it, and they're showing it live. So they're going in different parts of the country right now. There's musicians waiting for their chance to come on, and I think it's brilliant, to be honest with you. I tell you what, I'm going to bring Lee on because we had a bit of banter on Twitter earlier on. Just want to hear what Lee wrote to me actually on Twitter. It was funny, and it is bleeding hilarious. Hold on, I have to wait for me old Twitter to kick in. I've dropped this phone so many bleeding times now. That the phone has slowed up so much. I'll have to get a new phone when the shop's open. See, I'd rather go in to a shop and buy a phone rather than order one offline, because you never know what you'll get when you shop online. So yeah, where is this? Yeah, this is funny. Right, where is it? It's up here. So he goes, this is funny. So he goes, happy St. Kidnapped Englishman by Irish Pirates Day. And then he has a gif of me with me face, obviously, with that face swap app. And it says, it's more than wearing green and punching people in the face. Yeah. Listen, I don't really want to highlight it, but I know there's some nonsense going on in the chat. The moderators are going to handle it. If you could just do me a favor and don't react to it, just don't react. Let's just all have a bit of fun. That's what we're here for. We're here for a bit of fun and nothing else. So let's enjoy it. Let the moderators do their job. That's what they're there for. And they do a great job. So let them sort it out. And we're just going to have fun. Okay? That's what we're here for, to have a little bit of fun on St. Patrick's Day. Have a little bit of a chat with our friends and all you guys here. And have a laugh. Have a laugh. Yeah? So let's leave it at that. Yeah? Okay. So I do see we have Alpha Omega in the chat. We got Garbage Disaster Area, problem being Chris. Charlotte is here as well. And we've got a lot of other people as well. As your names come up, I'll give you a shout out. But yeah, Lee, I've sent you that email if you want to actually come on and celebrate Happy St. Kidnaps Englishman by Irish Pirates Day. It's a bit of a mouthful, but yeah, bleeding hilarious, man. Yeah. Just seeing episode 4, Superman and Lois, still very good, says Garbage. That's absolutely fantastic. Good to hear that. We will be doing our reviews on the other channel. So look out for them. We will be. I'm going to be watching the pilot. We'll start off with the pilot. So yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. We got Charlotte in the chat as well, as I said. Who else have we got? We'll give a couple of shout outs there. I'll call out the regulars because I know they're obviously there's a bit of nonsense going on, but you know, as I said, we're just going to enjoy ourselves. We got that goth nerd here. Welcome, Jade. Disaster Area. Chris Persia is here. As I said, he gave us that nice super chat. Thank you very much. We've got Time Mechanic here as well. Josh Stephen Morris. As I said, Charlotte. Alpha Omega. Maz is here as well. Welcome. And Morbius. Noel, who's your favorite Superman? Well, obviously, I did grow up obviously with Christopher Reeves as me Superman, so he is my favorite Superman. But I do love the TV show with George Reeves as well, and his death, as you know, was a bit of a mystery. And I do like Henry Cavill's Superman. Obviously, I haven't seen enough of the new Superman that they have in Superman and Lois. Is it Lois and Superman or Superman and Lois? Well, I think that's what it is. I haven't seen him as Superman enough to make a judgment, but everybody seems to be giving it good reviews. So that's absolutely fantastic. We've got Laura Thought here. He says, Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, pal. And we've got our Englishman here. Yes, he's all the way from the UK. He's a problem. He's a problem, babe.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Top of the evening to you there.
Bottom of the morning to you.
That's it. That's the one. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's been a strange St. Patrick's Day, but yeah, it's like last year, obviously, because you know we went in lockdown in March. Just I think it was a week before St. Patrick's Day, so literally they had people over here from America and everything. I think, and they cancelled everything, and like obviously all the Americans went home. The parade was cancelled. Everybody was like, ugh. But this year, even though it's not the same, it's at least they've made an effort.
Yes.
Some people will enjoy the TV festivities. For me, nah, you kind of have to be out there, mixing with people, enjoying the crack, having a few points, having chats with Americans as well. It's great when Americans come over to Ireland because they have this, uh, they have this preconception, and then when they come over, it's totally different, and they love it. They love it, They end up going home loving the experience of being here in Ireland. So, yeah, I miss all of that. Miss going into pubs where the Irish music is pumping. People are just smiling, being happy. Just and of course, it's Patrick's Day, so it wouldn't be Patrick's Day without the odd scuffle. That's just typical, but of everywhere though. I think too many if some people just can't handle their drink. And sometimes it does spill out of the pub onto the street.
It
You know,
wouldn't be any other way.
yeah. But we got a Alpha Omega. I love this. We got a $10 US dollar super chat. Don't want the culturally. No, I'll be hounded for that one. Culturally appropriate or anything, but happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you very much, and go ahead. Listen, we don't give a crap. For one day, if you want to pretend you're Irish, go for it. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, everyone's suddenly Irish today.
We gave you a free public holiday, so roll with it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. That's what it's all about. And
we've wondered what a lockdown St. Patrick's Day is really like,
Yeah. Well, it's okay. It's never got look. It's not. It's never gonna beat being out there in the streets, because they make an effort. You have all the stalls out, and there'll be burger vans and chip vans and fish and chip vans, and the parade is going on. The kids will all be there with their families. The kids will be enjoying it. Obviously, the adults be having a miserable time, especially if the weather is bad. But you see, this year the weather has been actually good, which has made it worse. But I thought people would just lose their crap and break lockdown and go out by their thousands. But it turns out that hasn't actually happened. And I have to be honest, I'm proud of the Irish people because I know it's been hard, but we're at the finishing straight, hopefully. They did say 9 more weeks it was extended for. It's been 3 weeks now. So
to flatten the curve.
So 6 more weeks they promised us. So if they come back and tell me that and I can't enjoy a pint.
I've forgotten what a pint even looks like, let alone tastes like.
I know, because it's not the same. No matter what they say, these people complain, but you can get drinking the off license, right? Listen. You haven't had a pint of Guinness until you've had a draft, right? It's as simple as that, out of the tap. There's no other way, right? It's not the same, right? And fair play to Guinness. The cans do get pretty close. They do, right? But the problem is the head on them go to shit after a while, right? It's not as creamy.
It's got to be poured properly.
It's not proper. It is Guinness, but it's not out of a pub. It's
What about Caffrey's?
Some pubs, limited pubs, do that. I used to drink a bit of that. Actually.
I think that's the more sort of authentic Irish booze, isn't it? Like in the pub. I think it's like Caffrey's is more like Guinness is more export, isn't it?
I thought it might be export wise, but in pubs it is Guinness. Guinness rules the roost, man. It always has and always will. They brought out actually a nice I don't know what you call it. I think it's a cross between a beer and a stout, I should say, and an ale, and it's called Kilkenny, and that is actually lovely.
I've been to Kilkenny.
The only problem about Kilkenny is I get terrible heartburn if I drink it, whereas with the Guinness I don't.
Oh, I'm like that with wine.
Yeah. So
especially red wine. White wine, I'm okay.
Murphy's as well. Some pubs do still sell Murphy's. There's 3 stouts, I think, or now they do all the. Obviously, you've got all of these gastro pubs, and now even some other pubs are doing their own brews of stout and stuff, which is great because the more the merrier. But Guinness, Smithwick's, yeah, I drink Smithwick's in the summer, right? That's what I drink, right? So I drink Smithwick's ale. It's an ale. So I drink Smithwick's, but then in the winter I drink Guinness. It's weird. But a lot of Irish people do that. Guinness is more filling as well. And the thing about it is, I'm not condoning this or that, but there'd be some days where I'd go out to the pub and I know if I eat food, I'd probably get sick. So I wouldn't eat food and I'd just drink more pints because,
Well, there's a lot to be said for Guinness, isn't there? Because
yeah,
it's got it's got enough in there that could actually be a full meal replacement.
yeah,
It's like it's not one of those milkshakes, those nutrition
so
shakes.
I'll give you an example.
But
Like they used to give Guinness. They used to give Guinness to newly mother first time mothers or mothers that had babies because there's a lot of iron in Guinness.
Yeah.
So obviously, as you know, through childbirth, there is some blood.
Yeah, don't drink gin. That's the other thing. That's for the other thing.
So Guinness, they used to give Guinness because back in the day they were kind of liberal with the alcohol. Even back in the day, like when you were kids, some mothers and fathers used. Now this is back in the day. Now this is back in the day when this was kind of acceptable. You give your kid a sup of brandy or something or whatever it was.
Listen, I was making cocktails with my gran at the age of 9.
Yeah,
she was cool.
I mean, that's what I mean. It was just a different time, a different era.
80s, you could get away with anything.
And you wouldn't, obviously, and rightly so, you wouldn't get away with that now.
No,
and that's rightly so. But back in the day, it was acceptable. Society.
It was all right. It wasn't, as long as everything in moderation,
It was in moderation, though. It wasn't as if
well, that's Ireland. I can't speak for Ireland.
Locked. Do you
know what the original advertising tagline was for Guinness?
It was there's been a few, but I got that
the absolute original first one.
No.
Right. Anyone in the chat? Do they know what the
is it the pelican? Is it the 2 pelicans and
no? It was the original tagline, like the commercial slogan. The slogan that went along with Guinness, right? Do you know what does anyone in the chat know what it was?
Right, but don't say that because I want to Google it, right? But
no, that's cheating.
I won't. No, I don't know it. But what I'll do is, right, I won't say nothing. You can tell everybody. I'll let you tell everybody what the original Guinness original. What was it? Original what?
Tagline.
Or
commercial. Oh, yeah, whatever you want to. Slogan.
Oh, that'd be better. Yeah. Slogan.
Right.
I can imagine it's something controversial.
Well, there was one which claims to be what most people remember or think of as the first one, but it wasn't.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, I think. Well, the one that says it's the first quote. It's 83 years old. Well, it was 83 years old.
Yeah, it's old. It's old. Yeah. All right, I'll tell you. Right, the original tagline for Guinness, and this is absolute truth, was "Drink Guinness. It gets you drunk."
Maybe that was in the UK, but it wasn't.
No. That was. I swear, right?
Well, here, listen. It says here, and I'm just going by because I googled it. It could be wrong now, but according to this, the very first tagline was "Guinness is good for you."
No, that was the second one. That was the one that they released and became popular.
All right, okay, I'll take your word for it. Well,
yeah, the very first one was "Drink Guinness, it gets you drunk." Like the most honest advertising ever.
I just want to give you a few more shout outs. We got Daniel, Rob Fellows, Lee Halford is here as well.
I like Lee Halford said, didn't realise there was a stream tonight. Happy Patricks Day, I said. So, wrong show. Yeah, thank God.
Fantastic. We got the 80s Oh, the classic 80s fanboy as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Brilliant. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it was a different time. I mean, even back in the day, you'd have the old men in the pub drinking, and they'd have their dog there, and literally, the dog would be drinking Guinness and stuff. And obviously, you wouldn't get away with it today, but yeah, actually, an interesting fact: there are more pubs in Ireland. I think there's two pubs for every Irish person, or three pubs for every Irish person. We have too many pubs. Now, some will argue in the business, because of the current situation that we're in, that we need pubs as part of the,
social
well, it is.
cohesion.
But the thing about it is, we've always had too many pubs. But it'd be great to see them all. Listen, we've got pubs literally in the arsehole of nowhere that I've drank in. I've been to different counties, right? And someone say, "Come on, we'll go to this pub," and it'd be literally the only thing around for about 50 miles. You'd have to drive there. And then the best thing about country pubs is this, though, is that the landlord or the landlady would have a bus. Yeah, they'd have a little
Yeah.
minibus. So, you didn't have to drive home, right? You didn't have to drive home. Obviously, drink driving is bad, and don't encourage it. It is bad. But they go out of their way because, do you know why? They're very clever, because they know if they get a lift home, right, that the punters get a lift home, they're going to drink more. They're going to eat more, because the pubs also sell sandwiches or whatever. Well, it all depends on the pub now. But one thing about Irish pubs, the Jacks, they're crap. Oh, the Jacks in Irish pubs are bad, especially in pubs like that in the arsehole of nowhere. You don't want to go to the toilet in the Jacks in Ireland. Trust me, in a pub, I should
Nice.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daniel says, I fancy a trip to Dublin. Disaster area says, I've tried to visit most of them but failed. He obviously wrote another message before that, because that makes no sense. Where is it? Beamish is nice. Oh, you're talking about all the stouts. You've tried all the stouts. Nice.
There you go. I've just put a link in the chat to the first thing I googled on.
Well, how come I'm getting an old show?
Well, because I knew what to look for. You see.
I said Guinness original slogan. That's what I wrote.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Right. Okay. Right.
See, I just typed in "drink Guinness, it gets you drunk," and that there was a few things, and I just picked the first one. There you go. Not making it.
Well, yeah. Guinness, obviously. Does everybody know the story about how Guinness came? But there's actually rumors. There's been an ongoing dispute between a town in Wales somewhere. They do a stout as well. And if I'm correct, the story goes is that Arthur Guinness was supposed to basically, how would I put it? Take the ride, yeah, maybe, and come back to Ireland, and then come up with his own version. Now, it's never been proven, I don't think, but he was very smart, right? Because as some people that probably don't know, Guinness's brewery in Dublin. I'm literally down the road from Guinness's brewery, right? So when
my mother used to live next door to
you could
a
smell
brewery.
the hop.
I think it was a whiskey brewery or something like that. And she said it was so strong, the fumes were so strong.
Yeah.
She felt drunk, living there. It's just so powerful.
Seriously, when I was a kid, right? Literally, if you went down towards the back of Guinness's, right, where they actually heat up the hops and stuff, You could smell it first thing in the morning and at night. It is a very strong, pungent smell, but it is a lovely smell.
And
I
that's
have
down
to
the
admit.
road. Imagine living next
Yeah.
door, like with the walls sharing the same wall.
Now
Wow, I mean, oof,
there's an
eye-watering.
800-year lease on the brewery, right? And he got it for I think it was how hold on, I'll tell you now. How much did Arthur Guinness buy the Guinness Brewery for?
Trivia time. Anyone in the chat want to guess?
And it was an 800-year lease. So they've got 800 years to stay there.
A
Now,
punt. A
now
punt.
it was proposed by Diageo, who obviously have nearly consumed every big major brewery around the world. They were going to relocate the Guinness brewery, the main brewery. Now, why is that a bad thing? Well, if you look on the can or you look on the glass, it has Arthur Guinness's signature, but it also has the brewery's name and where the drink is produced, right? So when you were even talking about this, the Irish people are, no, no, we're not having it. We're not having it. So it's not happening now. Apparently, they're going to extend the brewery here. So I'm glad they kept it in Ireland because Guinness is Irish. It's everybody knows Guinness around the world, even in the outback in Australia, and other places like that. Back and beyond know what Guinness is.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those things that's known
Well,
worldwide.
it's because the Irish went and populated most of the known world.
Yeah. Now there are other Guinness breweries around the world, but the main Guinness, uh, it's Guinness Storehouse, St James's Gate, Dublin 8, right? So you'll get St James's Gate, Dublin 8, Guinness is St James's Gate, Dublin 8, maybe on a pint glass or the can. I think there was some controversy because they were going to it was either take his signature off or remove that from the cans or something. Look, not all Irish people drink Guinness, but they're very proud of Guinness. And a lot of families would have worked in Guinness.
Mm.
Guinness was, I mean, they have their own medical center. I mean, this is like, it's kind of really unheard of breweries back then to have these kind of things. Guinness
Looking
was
after
kind of
their
the
workers.
first.
That's amazing. I didn't
Look,
know
yeah,
that.
exactly, exactly. I mean, look at even back in the early 80s. I even remember the horse-driven carts still. But before they start paving up all the old cobblestones, you walk down to Guinness's, you'd see the old tracks for the trams and the cobblestones, and it really did look like all Dublin is disappearing. That is sad. Luke Kelly, actually, a singer songwriter here, actually wrote a song about that, about Dublin, the town I love so well. Because he was missing, he was seeing old Dublin disappearing before his eyes and all of these new fancy buildings going up. And there's very little of old Dublin left. And they tarred over all the cobble bleeding stones. I know because for cars and all that road was notorious for car breakdowns and stuff. I get it, but I don't know. I just you
Yeah,
don't
it's
let
sad, isn't
cars
it? I
go
mean,
down. Just don't let cars go
mixing
down there.
practicality with old world standards.
Yeah,
It's a horrible mismatch, isn't it? I mean, you've got
yeah,
to try and compromise, but yeah, you do lose
exactly.
a lot of
But
the
try
charm and
preserve
history.
some of the old as well.
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, what I mean, there was even talk, right, back a couple of years ago, the Irish government considering tearing down. Oh no, they were going to turn the building. This was a building that was famous during the 1916 Rising, and they wanted to do something to the building, and people uh, obviously went out protested to preserve this building. But literally, they don't give a crap about our Irish government that's supposed to protect their Irish culture, our history, are dismantling it in front of our eyes. It annoys me. Patrick's Day. Look, I am a proud Irishman. I don't need a day. I'm like that all year round. I mean, I love me country, but I hate to see the way it's in the direction it's going right now. But also, when I see these buildings and government are just blatantly, well, we want to do something with the building, or we want to pull it down, or whatever they wanted to do with it. Like, Jesus Christ, he's got rid of a Viking settlement to build Dublin City Council's bleeding building. Like, they literally found, right, when they were obviously digging up the foundations, they came across an old Viking settlement, right? Okay, when the Vikings came to Dublin, right, 800, what was it, 800, well, it's more than 800 years now, right? But the Vikings came to Dublin, right, and they settled.
About 1200
and they
years.
found this settlement, right? So what they decided to do was try preserve as much by taking it out, right? And they took all these ancient artifacts out, right? Now some they've kept in museums, but then Dublin City Council got the bright idea, oh, let's put some of them in some paving, right? So you literally walk past Christ Church, and if you look down on the ground, you will see ancient stuff that they found in that dig site, and they whacked it down as paving. And over the years, because people have been walking over them, they have obviously started to fade away and stuff. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, the GPO is still standing. Yeah, the GPO is an active post office. So, yeah, and the 1916 Rising, they always have something happening outside the GPO. It'll be interesting to see if we're able to, again, over the Easter next year, hopefully, be able, because it's another day where Irish people, I mean, listen, this country has been through the mill with different people invading us. What happened to a lot of countries, but like, we lost a lot of people during that time, millions, in fact. And yeah, we've kind of, we take these things seriously. Now, the government, obviously, they're embarrassed about our past. We should never be embarrassed.
Absolutely not. I mean, history is
But
there for a reason.
you should learn from your past. That's the important thing. If you learn from your past, then then great. You won't make those mistakes again. And I think we have learned from our past. I mean, look in Northern Ireland. Okay, right now with all of this other rubbish that's going on in the UK because they decided to leave Europe, which I think was the right decision. I wish our country had had the guts to do so. European Union, remember, for anybody that knows, and I'm young enough to remember, it was all about trade, right? That's all it was supposed to be about. Countries trading with each other, helping each other out. That's what it was all supposed to be about.
It was centralized authoritarian control through the back door under the guise of liberalism. And listen, the Germans learned very, very slowly that Jack Boot marching down the fucking street waving red and white flags around
is not the way to do it.
So best to put on a suit and tie and come smiling at you with a handshake. That's how it works. And don't forget, the plan was set in motion by the Yazidis back in the 1940s. I mean, there's paperwork that exists that's published online in its original format in German with all the seals and everything, explaining how they were going to create a United States of Europe. And it's, through corporations and through this, that, and the other. And it was, through political means, whether they won or lost. So they had the plan already set. This is what people don't understand, because this is the abhorrent and woeful lack of historical knowledge within the education and academics areas. It's so abysmal, and it's not by accident that this is omitted. But people are generally not as stupid as they're made out by the media. People are very quick to jump down people's throats who wanted out. But I've always been anti-authoritarian. I've always, even from the left, I mean, for fuck's sake, Jeremy Corbyn, was anti-EU, right up until he became leader. Then it was kind of inconvenient for his position, so he kowtowed to his backbench, which is the majority of his party. And don't forget, Labour were actually against joining in the first bloody place. But no, it was signed into law before the vote by what's his face? Oh God, what was it? The one before Thatcher? The first, not the
some gobshite.
Yeah, the Prime Minister of the day, Ted Heath, right? So he signed it into law before the referendum to join. So it was a backdoor deal. Can't even say it. And I'm sorry, that's not a great way to start. And don't forget as well that when they actually signed the Treaty of Rome, in front of the world's press, they had all the world's leaders there, in the building, ready to go. And all of a sudden, they were sitting around waiting for ages and ages and ages, delayed in front of the world's press. So they left the copies on the train. Oh dear. Here, sign these blank pieces of paper. So they signed the blank pieces of paper to be filled in afterwards. Does that sound like, a great start to this, utopia?
Yeah, it doesn't, but listen, I don't want to get bogged down on all.
No, but that's history right there.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Irish were forced to vote 3 times.
I know. I was
3 times. No, yes, for some reason.
Right, here. 15 facts about Guinness. The company originally leased its Dublin brewery for, sorry, I was wrong, 9,000 years. So, I don't know how he managed to, get a 9,000 year lease, but there you go. So, yeah, they can make Guinness there for another, what? They haven't even gotten, they're not even that far in, so they can, they have Guinness will be around for a long time. They'll outlive us all. The lease included free access to water supply. So they got free access to water supply. There was once an ale as well, a Guinness ale. There you go. It takes 119.5 seconds to pour the perfect pint of Guinness.
There you go. And you have to do it in two steps, don't you?
Yeah, 2 steps, 45-degree hold the glass,
you have to let it sit.
45-degree angle. The beer's official colour is, let's see how many people actually get this. I won't say. Lee, I'll ask you on the panel, what is Guinness's official colour?
Official colour?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was an official colour.
What colour? Yes, there is. If you,
well, I remember that the toucan with multiple colours. Does that count?
Now, what colour do you think it is? What colour does it look in the glass?
Well, it looks black.
Right. Okay. Is that your answer?
That's a trick question, isn't it? Maybe it's a dark brown or red. I don't know.
Right. Well, has anybody sussed it? No cheating now.
Copper, says Alpha
Right.
Omega.
Well, the beer's official colour, and this is how you will find out, and it is true. You put a pint of Guinness up to a light source, right? The beer's official colour is ruby red.
Oh, well, I said red. Didn't I, chat? I said red.
Okay.
I said a dark brown red.
Listen to this, though. Guinness is brewed in 49 countries around the world.
But do they also do they all taste the same, or is it like McDonald's where it would taste different in each
They
country?
probably taste different because it does depend on water.
Because German
So
beer
it
in the
depends on the
UK,
water in the country, the quality of the
yeah, well,
water in the
and
country.
how they brew it, because sometimes they brew it
Exactly.
specifically for foreign tongue. You know,
Yeah.
like a
Uh,
like German beer, for example, is brewed with hops and barley, which they don't do
so
in Germany. So it's more of a sweetened taste for the British
yeah.
market.
Well,
That's
listen to
got a
this,
German label on it.
right? Listen to this. You're not going to believe this, but I knew this already. So Ireland isn't the biggest consumer of Guinness. We rank third. Yeah.
It's got to be America.
But the most Guinness drank annually after Britain is Nigeria.
Really? Who
Every
knew?
day, 10 million glasses of Guinness are consumed around the world.
Wow. Wow.
The bubbles in a pint of Guinness sink because of the shape of the glass.
Makes sense. Physics.
Guinness was one of the first companies to offer employee benefits, which I told you they had the medical center and dental as well, by the way, just to put that out. Guinness also consistently paid its employees 20% more than other brewers and gave them full pensions.
Nice.
Yeah. The Guinness Harp was one of the first trademarks in the UK.
Didn't know that.
There you go. The patent office notified the similarities between the two harps. Okay, was that in it? I don't that. The government ran into issues when trying to register the harp as the state symbol under international trade law, mark law, because the symbol and the Guinness label were so similar. Yes, so the Guinness harp is obviously different to the Irish harp, but yeah, you can figure that crap out, trademark crap. Just listen, the harp is ours. We'll do whatever we want with it. Yeah, right. Anyway. 12. Guinness promised every British soldier a pint of beer on Christmas Day during World War II.
Nice. There you go. That's the way to fight war, isn't it?
That's it.
Legless.
The first Guinness Book of World Records was published to help settle pub arguments. Wow. Never knew that. So there you go. Maybe different pubs were competing with each other. You know, maybe some Republicans were saying, "No, my pub sells more Guinness than your pub," because the harp is a national symbol of Ireland. A lot of old Irish folk music, Daniel. The harp. If you've never heard people play the harp, listen to Irish music with the harp. It's very. I love
Stealing
it.
on coins as well, didn't it?
Yeah, and on air coins as well, and still is.
Yeah,
Still is.
cool.
Even though we have the euro, we do have the harp on the front of the coin, and then obviously all the European crap on the other side. But yeah, we do still have it. I'm pretty sure we do. I don't really look at the money that much, but yeah, we do. It has been consumed underwater. Guinness has been consumed underwater. As part of the celebration of the 250th anniversary of Arthur Guinness signing the lease on St. James's Gate Brewery, the company held a contest that promised the winners who would get to drink Guinness like never before. A submarine bar was commissioned in 2019, and 3 years later, the winners went under the Baltic Sea in Stockholm to enjoy their points. Wow, they seem to go all out with their promotion, all right. Number 15, these are 20 little fun facts. Guinness created its own superhero in Africa. As part of an advertising campaign, Guinness created a full-length action movie called Critical Assignment that was shown in cinemas across Africa. The story follows the strong journalist Michael Power as he tries to stop a corrupt politician from buying weapons with stolen money. Power gets all his strength from drinking, you guessed it, Guinness.
Brilliant.
No way. I have to check that out.
I need to see that.
To that movie. Holy moly. Yes, I'll have to check it out. That will be bleeding cringe, I guarantee you. Actually, that was 15 fun facts. Sorry, 15.
We ran out.
Oh, we ran
There's
out.
some good stuff in there.
Good stuff though. Yeah. There you go. Just so people know a little bit about Guinness and stuff, because it is Irish and it is a St. Patrick's Day stream. So yeah, that was good. That was good. I like that. I like that. But that movie, yeah, we have to check that bloody movie out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Man,
Like
making their own superhero and getting them to drink a drink that has plenty of iron in it.
and fight corrupt politicians
And
who steal money to buy weapons. That sounds familiar.
It does. It does. I mean, we've got corrupt politicians everywhere, but we won't get into it. We won't get into it because I don't want to get political. Guinness crisps are nice. Ugh.
I've not heard of those.
We have a famous brand of crisps over here called Tato. So Tato came up with the bright idea, oh, let's put some of our crisps in a chocolate bar. See, a lot of Irish people used to eat cheese and onion crisps, right? And then they'd have a bar of chocolate after. But because some of the crisps would obviously get stuck in the back of your teeth while they were eating the chocolate, it would taste okay. It would taste nice, I have to admit. But they decided to put it in a chocolate bar, right? And it just was awful. It was awful. Listen, there's a difference with having a little bit of crisp in your mouth and eating chocolate than actually putting crisp in a chocolate bar. No.
That is so wrong.
Yeah, so Tato decided to do that. It was a cheese and onion flavored chocolate bar.
I take it they didn't sell out of Tato's then, so there would be no sort of Tato famine. Is it too soon? Too soon. I don't know. Sorry, man.
Tato is obviously the crisp. Also, we have King crisps as well. I think you have them in the UK. I prefer King crisp because I think the cheese and onion flavor is a bit more harsher. I like it.
I don't know. Not heard of that brand. I know Walker's, and I know the other one.
We did have a very famous Irish Guinness ad in the 90s. I can't play it for you, but it's obviously...
the 90s Guinness adverts were great. You had we have all
the time in the world. That was brilliant, right? And do you remember your man doing did it?
Yes.
Where he's doing the dance. I remember the night that premiered. He actually made a big deal out of that. I remember the night that premiered, and I swear everybody loved that bloody TV ad. That was
Guinness did some amazing adverts.
Yeah, they did. And they still kind of do sometimes, I have to say. They come out with one or two ads that are great. But lately now, because Guinness is, as I've rightly pointed out, Guinness is huge in Africa. It is absolute. They have an extra stout. You have extra malt in their Guinness. They have like different variations of Guinness over there. The normal Guinness over there is popular.
I guess it's like the Japanese with whiskey. You know, they've got all types of whiskey. They've got their own. You know, they're obsessed with it.
Exactly. So Guinness has focused most of their big ad campaigns there now, which rightly so. If that is the biggest consumer of Guinness, well then go for it. Yeah, exactly. Exploit that. You know, if Guinness is popular over there, why not? So I've no problem with that. And they have this great ad where it's five lads and they're doing their daily work. Right, they come home and they have a wash, but they put on their flash clothes. Have you ever seen that ad? Where they put on their flash suits, right? They're all like really bright colored suits, right? And they're all in this pub and they're drinking Guinness, but they're doing their little dance moves and all. They're supposed to be the hippest people in this certain town, right? They work hard, but then at night time, then they put on their suits and they go and they drink some Guinness and do their dance moves and are a hit with the. It's a great ad, I have to say. But yeah, I do. I have to be honest though. I do miss the ads that they used to do in the 90s because
quality ads.
Because they were quality ads.
They were works of art. They were really just amazing works of art.
They were. But as I said, even the ads now, but they're literally putting millions into these ads now. Back in the day in the 90s, obviously Guinness was a big company back then. They were I say they were still pumping millions, but not as much as they're doing now. I mean, they're really pushing Guinness over there. I mean, seriously, I googled it. They have several different variations that I've never even heard of. And now, because Ireland is a diverse country, you have these stores opening up, and they obviously bring in these different types of Guinness. So you can go into these shops now and you can try them for yourself. I did try one. I have to be honest, man, blew me head. I wasn't expecting it. It was something like 14%.
Wow.
It was like double the. Did you know what I mean? 3, 4. No, hold on. What's Guinness?
Comes out like treacle.
Seriously, it was one bottle of this stuff, right? And they're big bottles. They do real big bottles, and I was drinking the thing. Oh, I tell you, I was in a bad way. With that. But yeah, I love it. It's great. Of course, we do still have the trash beers over here, like Budweiser and Carlsberg and all those commercial beers. But you notice all those commercial companies now are doing their non-filtered beer and all this, and they're trying to be all classy.
Yeah. All these designer drinks. I mean, that was a hangover from the 90s. The late 90s. I mean, all these. Designer yuppie drinks.
Actually, I want to show you something, because Guinness did have some ill-fated ventures.
It had some Coke, new Coke kind of disasters.
So watch Guinness products that failed, right? Right, hold on, and I'll read them out to you, right? And if I'm able to show a picture, I will. Hold on, give us a second, because there was loads, right? Right. There was one called Guinness Light, and there was a huge ad campaign. And this is what it looked like, right? So even the glass for it was with the light on it just didn't look great. But there was a big, massive, and I mean massive ad campaign for this, right? And then I think there was another one a few years later that they tried. I think it was called Guinness Extra, and then they had I think they had a white Guinness, they called it. I tried it. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but yeah.
Well, all head and no body.
I think the best beer that they have produced in recent times is Hop House 40. That is an absolutely lovely bloody beer. I have to be honest. I do enjoy a Hop House 40. It's probably, as I said, probably the best thing that Guinness have produced since Guinness, to be honest, because all their other things spectacularly failed. So this is Guinness Light right here. Now the head was a little bit lighter. The color was a little bit lighter as well. And as I said, there was a huge campaign for it, and it failed spectacularly. Absolutely failed. Irish people, it was like, do you know what everybody thought it was like? It was like a watered down version. And this was the ad campaign. It was like, one small step did it for mankind. We've done it for beer.
Not the brightest moment.
No, it was atrocious, folks. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all. I remember my dad. Now, obviously, I couldn't drink at the time. But I remember my dad was all excited about this because it was supposed to be a lighter stout, lighter than Guinness, which meant drink more for the lads. Like, you know what I mean? That's what they were thinking. But it was like a watered down. That's what they said. It was either whatever, they switched the water. And by the way, a lot of Irish people will say that Guinness about 20 or 30 years ago switched the water. I don't know what that means, but they switched the water, and apparently it's never been the same. But I haven't been drinking Guinness for 30 years. So, like, because I would have been only, what, 11, 12. So, I wouldn't have been drinking alcohol at that time. But apparently it has changed. But I haven't noticed it. I mean, the best point of Guinness I had wasn't in the Guinness storehouse where you think would be the best point of Guinness, but it was in Bohemians' home ground. Crumlin United was a local team where I lived at the time that were playing in Bohemians' football stadium, and literally in the little bar there, I ordered a pint of Guinness. I'm not telling you a word of a lie, lads, right, and ladies, right? It had the creamiest head I've ever seen, and it was the smoothest drink I've ever had. And I'm telling you, right, I drink Guinness a lot. At that time, I drank Guinness a lot everywhere because obviously I was one of those. I worked hard and I played hard. I was literally working, chefing and DJing the weekends when I had weekends off. Like, I never took a break really, but I drank a lot. And telling you, 3 points and I was nearly on my back, lads. It was the nicest 3 points I ever had. I literally had to
don't, you're making me gagging for a
and listen,
pint
I
or something.
normally drink knockback 7, 8, maybe 9 points, not a bother to me. But I couldn't that night. It was seriously never experienced 3 points like it, and I still say it to this day. That was the best place I ever had a pint of Guinness. Whatever they did, they obviously cleaned their pipes, cleaned their tubes and their taps a lot because if you don't, it does. Think about it. I reckon all of these pubs that have been closed have probably cleaned all their taps, and they have probably done it in years, maybe months in some cases. Now, Guinness are very strict on that. They do actually have their own engineers that do go around if the pub wants them to clean their taps for them. Right, but I used to do it. You use fluid, but you have to literally clean the pipes. It's the only way to enjoy a pint of Guinness. You can't have any clog up in your pints. Think about it. Even your water pipes, when you're drinking, what happens to the water pipes? They build up with shit, don't they? You know what I mean? That's why you're supposed to,
Yeah, I mean, even just soft water that leaves a lot of just on the water on its own can leave a lot of lime scale, let alone all the other stuff that they put in a Guinness. Yeah, that stuff will, I mean, imagine what that does to the inside of your stomach.
Yeah. So back in the old days, I seen it happen in many pubs. People would order pints, and then it turned out they didn't want those pints, and then someone just literally come along and order a pint. The barman would just hand them the bleeding pint. Like, I was like, you pour them a fresh pint, But yeah, but look, I mean, I do. I just want the pint of Guinness. I'm sorry I keep talking about Guinness, but like, it's if you haven't had a pint of Guinness, then obviously you don't know. Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day to Teddy.
I don't know if anyone else in the chat thinks this, but this is how crazy my brain works, right? Does anyone else in the chat think, like, does Teddy bark in an Irish accent? Seriously, I mean, I think shit like this. This is what goes on in this head of mine. I just wondered if anyone else did the same thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's kind of like half Irish, half
I've never actually thought of that now. Now you've made me think about it now. Do us a favour.
Please don't tell me I'm alone.
We got 26 people watching. If you don't mind hitting that like button, sharing the stream, that would be absolutely fantastic. I was actually going to do a dual stream on both channels, but then I kind of thought, I'm glad I didn't, because obviously at the start of the stream we had a bit of nonsense, so it would have been hard for the moderators to control two channels. So I just said, let's do it on the Tarda Zone, because it is the main channel, and you know, we'll have a bit of fun.
It looks like I'm alone in my sad little brain box. Charlotte is like,
dogs do distinguish from different languages, though, which is
this is what I was thinking, because I'd heard somewhere that cats meow in the sort of accent of the local regions where they're from. Apparently, like they have regional accents depending on where they are in the country, according to some kind of research that I heard about somewhere at some point. So I just thought, well, maybe it's the same with dogs. I don't know.
Yeah, well, dogs are clever. You're right there, Mad Wolf. Dogs are clever. I'm actually looking on my phone at the live chat because it's froze here on StreamYard, and I just can't be asked to refresh. I don't want to leave Lee on the stream on his own. God knows what he'll get up to.
I might turn very Irish all of a sudden and try and take over.
Don't put on an Irish accent. It doesn't.
Jack Main in the chat there is trying to give you an idea of what an Irish cat might sound like. I don't know how different that is to English cats.
Even though McDonald's is open, it's a drive-through only. I have to be honest, I know it's junk food, but Jesus Christ, I want a quarter pounder with cheese.
Stop! You're making
or chicken nuggets. Just give me the. Do you know what? I'm gonna. Yeah, I will stop because I don't want to bring up. But I'd eat the whole menu.
Oh God!
Give me one of those apple pies. Oh Jesus! Ice cream, strawberry sundae.
Shut up! Stop! Stop it already! Oh my God! I'm dying here now.
Feck. Well. But yeah, I mean, but that's what Irish people would do as well. You know, eat a Burger King, a McDonald's, or KFC, whatever is open. Just go in and bleed and eat, and then drink, eat.
Every month I treat myself to something like a fish and chips.
Yeah. There's nothing better.
Nice bit of tartar
Irish
sauce.
and English thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But fish and chips, especially if the fish is fresh.
Yeah, nice.
And I don't mean what you mean fresh. Obviously, they freeze a lot of fish because a chipper wouldn't work unless. But if you go in on the day that they get the delivery, you'll get some fresh fish.
To be honest with you, I don't understand why, like on an island nation, that you need to freeze the bloody fish. I mean, you're only 25 miles away from the sea, no matter where you are. No more than.
I know, but there's certain quotas because of this. Don't want to get back into politics again, but there you go. Because of this thing that we're part of, but that's all I'm saying. There's quotas, and so it's not the same as it used to be. Sure, I mean, even in chippers, you used to be able to get. Now, in some of the older chippers, you probably still can get a bit of place. But you used to be able to get a bit of place. Now you get them in a fish box. You get a bit of white and a bit of red fish, a bit of place.
Fresh salmon. Yeah,
I love Ray and chips is my
salmon, a nicely lightly grilled salmon, 8 minutes in the grill, oiled, slightly lemoned, peppered, salted.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. And some rainbow trout, which I did a couple of years back. If people that have been following me remember, I actually put the photographs of the rainbow trout. They were full rainbow trout. I had to gut them myself and do all the yolk and I got two lovely big rainbow trout, and I did some pasta with, was it pasta we had with it? I think we did some pasta with it and some roasted vegetables. And yeah, I did some grilled the rainbow trout. It was absolutely lovely. Obviously, I'd put my own little secret ingredients in there to jazz up the fish. But I tell you, it fell
I think
out.
with a non-white fish, I think it needs to be grilled. I
Yeah.
mean, kippers obviously grilled, but
Oh yeah,
like with like other types of fish, white fish, I think is best if you give it a
yeah.
grill fry.
Kippers. I remember me dad, right? Seriously, back in the day, right? Seriously, every Saturday he'd go. Obviously, we were a little bit older then, but we, the like literally where the block of flats that I lived, right?
Ooh,
Uh,
no, Lord Thorpe, no. Pacific salmon is horrific. It's so pungent. Like Atlantic salmon is much fresher.
yeah. There's so see again. I wouldn't
Sorry,
trust
it's too
eating.
dark. The flesh is too dark for it. I think, it's just too weird. I don't like the taste.
Well, all the crap that's gone into the Pacific Ocean
Sorry.
anyway. I wouldn't. I'm being honest. I'd be a bit wary eating the fish.
Get
You
some
don't
Scottish
know,
salmon.
but
I don't know why they call it Scottish salmon. I mean, they only go there like to lay eggs and
yeah,
then
I
leave,
love salmon. I
or
do love
die.
salmon. I love rainbow trout. But me dad with the kippers, right? So he literally every Saturday morning, him and me mum, and they still do it to this day. But obviously the days have changed. But they go out a few times a week and they do their shop. They love going shopping together, like still to this day. Um, But he used to go to this old place where we lived, and I'd have a fish stalls, and he'd literally bring home some kippers, and you know what kippers smell like, Lee.
Oh
So
God, yeah.
literally the whole, because it was a flat. Remember, you lived in a flat with a little thing called the scullery, right? That's what we used to call them years ago, little kitchen sculleries, right? Because they were like literally tiny little box things, right? And you'd have a little window. But like everybody in the block of flats would know who was eating kippers because you'd literally smell the food coming out of their
Oh,
gap,
oh,
right?
Alpha Omega says even bottom feeders like catfish are good. No. My Chinese grandfather would always bring home bloody catfish and put them in a tank, and
Yeah.
they last for a while. Then they grow too big for the tank. Then you'd have to get rid of them. So silly. It was a strange bugger.
Yeah. Did you ever eat winkles?
No, I've eaten snails, sea
Right.
snails. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bit garlicky. Put a lot of garlic in there on them, the French. But no,
Bad
I've never had whelks or mussels or anything like that. Just
Yeah,
never
I
appealed to me.
have, obviously, because I live on an
I've had
island.
oyster. It was just so gritty and it was just too
But you see, the thing
saltwater
about
heavy.
it is, if you go out to Dublin Bay or Black Rock or Bray or any of those beaches, and when the tide is out, you can literally go and pick your own. There's not like, there's nothing stopping you from picking your own. You would see a lot of people, especially in the summer, go to the beach. They'd literally bring shopping trolleys, not shopping trolleys. You know those little wheelie trolleys that the old women
Yeah,
push.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, but they literally bring them. They bring like bags with them, loads of bags with them, and they'd fill up a shitload of bags, right, and fill up the trolley. No, but seriously, this is what used to happen in the block of flats. They used to people would go on the Saturday, go to the beach. They'd spend all day picking, come home at 7 in the evening. By 9 o'clock, then, they'd have them washed, put in the pot. They'd literally cook them overnight, and everybody smell winkles all over the place. And then people used to sell them. They used to sell them like you'd get like literally a handful. I remember like we used to knock on the doors because this is the way it used to happen. You'd bring your 20p piece up to them, right? And they literally give you half a bag or wrapped in newspaper, give you a shitload of them, and you'd sit there with a pin, picking them out of the shell and eating them sitting on the wall down in the flats. All the kids would be sitting there eating their winkles while the the adults would be sitting on the balcony watching the kids, so no kids would choke. They'd be all sitting out then eating winkles. Like that was literally the way of life when I was growing up. Like people, and my mum and dad used to do it as well. Everybody in the flats used to do it. It was a way of making a little bit of extra cash as well, but nobody was ever greedy. Like you literally get loads. Like the kids would get loads. Like of winkles, you'd be literally sitting down there, and there'd be winkle shells everywhere, everywhere. You'd be literally the Dublin Corporation come in to clean up the next day, and literally all they'd be sweeping up is winkle shells.
Brilliant.
Bad Wolf 66 with a £2 super chat says, have a St. Patrick's drink on me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Very kind.
But yeah, I mean, look, those were the days.
Yeah, simpler times, you know. I mean, I remember fish and chips being wrapped up in old newspaper, and you get like the print come off from the chips. You know, probably die of poisoning these days. But yeah. You know, they used to have old roasted chestnuts on an open fire in the streets, and they'd sell them like that.
Sure, you used to.
Now they charge you $5 for it. Or something.
Even as a kid, right, you used to be able to go into old chippers, right? This is not a word of a lie. And you could go in at the end of the night. Now, obviously, when I got when I was a bit of a mammy's boy back in the day, and she used to go bingo, and because she didn't want to leave me at home, she'd bring me with her. But when we come out, the only thing that I actually really enjoyed about it, because this was the time where you could smoke, right? So you literally have all the old ones, including me ma, puffing away while they got their markers and they're marking their books. Now, these women are amazing.
Literally, like flipping Robocop.
And she'd be marking 7 bloody books, and she'd have her big squidgy marker, right? And the caller would call out a number, and it's like,
yeah, like bloody Robocop.
Right? And
House Doreen.
Right? Seriously, man, right? But here was the thing. Halfway through the night, my eyes would start going red because of all the cigarette smoke. So I'd have to
go right, yeah, I remember that.
Right, I remember those. Do you remember those days?
Yeah. Usually at weddings.
A bloody smoker because of all the but literally, because there was no rules back in those days about second smoke and all of that. We didn't really know much about secondhand smoke. So that was great.
Oh, can we just say to Bad Wolf 66 that we hope his beautiful dog, I think it's a bull mastiff or a bull terrier. Gorgeous little thing, gorgeous in big chocolate eyes. Not well, and
get well soon.
Wishing your baby all the best.
That's it, and I know how you feel, man, because I'm a dog lover myself.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? You do anything for.
They become more than just a pet. Anybody that says any different is lying. They do become part of your family, and it is. Yeah, but listen, we won't say any more than that, except get well soon. But what was I saying anyway?
About the RoboCop grannies. And,
right. But my favourite part of the night is when the night was over. Now, it was especially good if one of the group that my mum was in won something on the night, because then that means we would be going to the chipper, right? But by the time bingo was over, it'd be like 11:30, 11:45. So the chippers back in those days used to literally shut at 12 o'clock. But because they knew that the bingo crowd was coming out, they'd stay open till 12:30, right? But literally, oh man, I used to love it. So my mum used to get me a sausage, right? But what a battered sausage. But what would literally happen is right, the fella in the chipper, because he knew it was for me, he put a battered sausage in it. And you know all the crispy chips that are left?
Yeah.
The crispy ones, the ones that everybody wants.
Bits.
You know, when you get a bag of chips, right? He'd literally half fill that bag with those crispy things for me and throw in a couple of chips. So I'd literally be walking home with me battered sausage and me chips, and salt and vinegar when I did like salt and vinegar.
It was great, isn't it? Like when you were a kid that age back in the day, like you get spot rotten, you get loads of freebies, and like he'd give you like 50p and things like that, and you'd be like really excited.
Exactly. It was great.
50p wouldn't get you jack shit anymore.
Like someone would say, "Will you go to the shop for us now?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, what do you want?" And they'd say, "We'll get us this, that, and the other." And then literally you'd have several people, but you'd have a few quid in your pocket because every time they'd give you something. And then when I got a little bit older and wiser then, right, used to go on to a certain bridge where I lived. And in the summer, the Irish kids along the way, they'd have their buckets of soapy water and the squidgy brushes, and they'd actually offer to wash cars while the lights were red. So you'd literally go around, right?
That's the thing in Ireland, right? That's the thing in Ireland.
Yeah,
in Ireland, like all the cars, like when I visited Cork, there was like cars were like normal, pristine, like from the roof down to the bottom of the windows, and then underneath that it was just grey, like because of all the road dirt.
Because of the So like literally, right? So you'd have some drivers that'd be like, "Back off," right? Because they knew that if you did the window, they'd have to give you some money. Well, I'm telling you, literally one day I spent 3 hours at the bridge with my little brother, and we made, back in the day, this was a lot of money. We made £75.
Wow, that is a lot of money back in
the day. I remember
now it's a lot.
Obviously, when the parents found out how much we'd made, the £75 was taken quickly off us because we would have spent it foolishly. But over the next couple of weeks, then, they'd let us, if we wanted a treat, well, that's what the 75 quid was for. Like, they didn't keep it for themselves. What they did was they'd leave a little budget there so they wouldn't have to spend their own money, and they'd be saving money to pay the bills. So it worked out. So, literally, man, we'd go out and wash cars, and then it turned to doing people's gardens because there was more money in that. So a lot of the lawnmower places, and they'd still do it today, actually, in Ireland. I don't know if they do it in the UK, but they'd still do it here. You could rent a lawnmower. So all you'd have to do is get the money off your parents, like to rent it. Like you tell them, listen, we want to rent a lawnmower because we're going to go out and cut some grass. And your parents would, because they know that you have to come home with a few quid, right? I literally, seriously, man, we go out 5 days a week in the summer holidays, Monday to Friday, and you'd literally come home with about 80 to 90 pounds a day cutting grass. So literally, there was a lot of money. Because Irish people, listen, when it comes to charity and shit, you see it. Irish
generous,
straight away dip into their pockets. When it comes to money, see, because Irish people, it's like, it's a true saying, right? I'm not going to say there's no rich Irish people, because there is, right? But they don't talk about it. We don't brag about wealth.
No, I found when I went to Ireland, I was really worried that they were gonna, I think, oh God, there's English. They might have thought it, but they didn't say it. They were the kindest, sweetest, friendliest bunch of people like I'd come across. I was so enamored with Ireland. I wanted to just get up and move, just stay there because it was so great.
See, the thing about it
is so nice.
Yeah, but the thing about it is the Irish people. Yeah, we know there's a history between the two countries. Yeah. We know that, and it's still kind of ongoing even to this day because of the North and stuff. But at the end of the day, we know just as much as you know as well. It's not the people that live in society's fault. I mean, it wasn't their fault, So I think the Irish and English, as a people, do actually get on. Obviously, there is some parts of Ireland and some parts of the UK that would still have anti-Irish sentiment, but that's you're always gonna have that. That's never gonna. Some people.
I've never met an Irish person. I've never met an Irish person I didn't like.
Yeah,
I can honestly say that, and that for me, I think that says a lot.
That means you like me. You really
well, you're tolerable.
like me.
I
know I'm saying it wrong. I was trying to do that Sally Field speech where, oh, you love me or whatever it was. I was trying to do because, like he says, he loves
don't
me.
do that. That's just weird.
Oh yeah, that didn't work out the way I planned. Because he said he loved Irish people. He hasn't met a bad one, so he was obviously talking about me too. So that's why what I was doing. Oh, you love me.
Well, that's a bit of an assumption, isn't it? Really.
He did say
I
all.
could have gone on to say except
fair
for
enough,
one.
Fair enough. He did say all though, didn't he, folks? Back me up on this one. He did say all, so he's changed his mind.
Painting myself into a
all Irish people except me. Who gives a crap? People hate me, and that's just the way it is. Who cares?
I just think people, I think it's snobbery more than anything. I think because you're a working class lad, and they're all sort of upper middle class snobs.
Yeah, well, screw them. Who cares? We don't want to get into it or acknowledge any of that crap.
But let's face it, they're just
but I will keep doing what I'm doing anyway, and
right. Listen, I mean, if I thought you were half the things they call you out to be and all this nonsense, I wouldn't fucking be here. Simple as.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I will just say on that is that look, they don't watch me streams every day unless they really do, and if they do, then they
only to take clips out of context.
So I don't really care what anyone.
No, not going there. Not going there.
Yeah, don't care what they have.
Dusted.
Anyway, back to our little conversation. But yeah, Ireland back in the 80s and 90s was great. And I say it was the same in the UK. It was just,
simpler times.
Yeah, I mean, everybody just got on with it, and it was fun living in Ireland as a kid. I have to be honest. I remember trips to the beach and stuff where we get up early in the morning, 8 o'clock to go and get a bus because it literally take an hour and a half or 2 hours to get to this beach that we wanted to go to. But once we got there, well, because half of us at the time, travel sickness, especially kids on a bus for that long, trust me, you're not used to traveling, which we weren't used to traveling when we were younger. A lot of us used puke up, where faces would go as white as a sheet. We'd be grand at the start of the journey, and then slowly but surely puking. But then as soon as we got
to the beach,
half an hour later, we're full of pep and into the water, except for me because I'm terrified of the ocean.
I look, I'm not a fan. I went to Portugal once, and I went into the Atlantic Ocean, and I swear to God, I tried standing in it, and my feet were just sucked away from me. It was just like, oh my God! And I within minutes, I was like really far away from the.
Come here, give me a laugh. We went to the
I had to force myself back. Like I had to.
And I think the whole time I was there, I went to the Algarve, and I think the whole time I was there, I never stepped foot near it.
Wise decision. The undercurrent is so strong.
Yeah, I went to the strip. I went to obviously I was in my early 20s, so I went to my sisters were going away, and my dad was their first holiday, so he asked me if I would go on this holiday with them. Obviously I wasn't going to complain because it was being paid for. So I went on this holiday. All I had to do was save up my money for me spending money. And that's what I did, and went away on this holiday with 23 girls. Yeah, it was absolute madness. I'm going to tell you now, women are crazy. They're absolute batshit crazy, especially when they get drink into them. I got to the stage where I knew my sisters could handle themselves because they weren't acting so much the clown. My sister genuinely wanted to enjoy our holiday. So I just said, look, I'm not going to be here to keep an eye on you. It's your first holiday. Enjoy yourself and basically, like, don't get into trouble. That was it. So I went my separate ways. I met some Australians. I had a lock-in in an Australian bar, right, in the Algarve, and the owner was a huge Garth Brooks fan, and we literally sat there with about 20 of us drinking pints and cocktails, listening to that music. That's how I became a fan, actually. Never heard this guy before, to be honest with you, even though he was big in Ireland. I wasn't into country music. And then I remember
TARDIS time is off. Good night. Good night. He says, good night, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day now.
Alpha Omega with a $10 super chat. Check your Twitter DMs. Share the 3 clips with the chat. I want to hear your thoughts on them.
Oh, those are the Family Guy ones. I don't think we can play those because there'll be copyright struck like within 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I get into trouble.
But they're all Irish related, because
I will check them out personally, yeah. But but I don't know. How do I put them in the? I could put them in the chat for people, but I don't know how to. You know me.
Oh, I can do that.
I'm not very good. Right, we'll get. Lee is gonna do it. Lee is gonna do it. Put it in the chat for you folks.
I'm nice like that.
Thanks, Alva. I appreciate that super chat as well, pal. But yeah, I mean, look, growing up back in the day, it was brilliant. It was a different time. They are on YouTube already safe. Yeah, but the person on that channel might have permission to put them up.
Yeah, might not be monetized on his channel.
Might be monetized. As soon as I play them, this stream is obviously monetized.
They have a special loving nature towards Noel's channel, as we all.
Yeah. So I
nurturing sort.
Yeah, I can't take that risk, because they're we won't get into it, but there are people out there literally just waiting to pounce. Rent free is all I'm saying. But
I'll put them in the chat though, so people.
Yeah, but again, going to the beach, I used to do when I was a kid, just like at the sand, and my dad and my man knew I just didn't like the water, so they gave me a bucket and spade, and I used to build sand castles. And then I'd get a little bit brave as the tide was coming in, and I'd literally get me hand where the sandcastle was and make a little moat, as everybody does, and then push the sand all the way down towards, so the water would come up and around it, and then as the tide was coming in, then I'd obviously watch the sandcastle, like all kids did. But it was a great time. It was a great time. And look, we're not going to say that society or the world was perfect. It wasn't. But obviously we were oblivious as kids. But it was a nice time. Everybody was nice to each other. There was no nonsense. There was no social media.
Yeah, I think social media has been a horrible experiment. That's it's social engineering. There's no getting away from it. It has changed society. It's made a whole bunch of people narcissistic, especially the younger generation. Not all, but it's so controlling, and it's everywhere. It's omnipresent. It's like whenever you go out, even like when we could go out, people would be in the pub sitting on their mobile phones, and it kills conversations.
It does. Nobody's
like having the TV in the pub
face to face anymore. Nobody communicates with each other face to face anymore.
And when you went to meet, when you made arrangements to meet your friends, right? You would make your arrangements by landline, right? You would sit by your landline, wait for your friends to call you. Then you'd have to be there. And then when you said you meet someone by the clock tower at the you were there on time.
I remember that you'd be waiting on friends, like literally then they'd be late. And because there was Like you
Yeah,
had
you
to
didn't know whether to wait 15
or
minutes
wait
to an
another
hour,
20 minutes, half an hour, or do I go home? And then if you go
Exactly.
home, and the thinking was, well, if I go home, I'm going to miss out on a great night.
Yeah, so you'd hang around longer than you needed to.
But sometimes a mate wouldn't, and then I'd say, well, F it. I'll go to the pub myself, man. I'll go to a club myself, because you'd always bump into someone that you know and end up then going on a pub crawl with them or something, or you get invited into their social media and be like, right, we're going to head
or
off.
you'd spend 10p on the phone call. 10p on the phone call. Remember when it was 10p?
Yeah, 10p for a phone call. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Or 5p, I think. I even remember
the phone
5p.
boxes that disappeared. You don't really have many over here. I think they got rid of most of them actually in Ireland. Social media is not social, says Lee Halford. It is
anti-social media.
Anti-social media. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look, it's good to reminisce actually, especially on a day like
it is, but it's kind of sad at the same time because you just think, well, God, I wish I could just go back.
I know, but even when I was playing the music right last night, and I'm sorry to anybody that does follow me
on playlisting there.
I know your notifications might have been going a bit mad last night, but I really wanted to share some of the music, especially the Irish artists that I love. And I have to be honest, I got a little bit emotional last night watching the River Dance again. It gets to me every time, because that night in particular, I was even a kid. Now, I didn't realize that it would have the impact that it did have.
It made Ireland an international country in the eyes of the world in one performance.
Yeah, 300 million people were watching that little place on the Liffey. 300 million people. And they came out. Your woman sang her song, the band sang the song, and then Jane Butler comes out. And nobody had ever seen. This is the thing. This is what people don't realize, right? And I know people are probably sick of Irish dancing now at this stage, because River Dance did really kill it. It's kind of
a victim of its own success. Like panpipe music,
you know. They had Lord of the Dance as well. But when Jane Butler pulled off that cloak, she was symbolizing something new. That's what that was. That was. And when she was dancing, nobody had seen Irish dancing like that. But when Micah Flatley blew onto the stage, nobody had seen a male Irish dancer like that ever before.
Legs made of girders. I don't know how he did those.
Steps were just amazing. I was mesmerized. And then when all the whole dancers came out and they were basically Irish dancing in sequence, I was blew away.
And the thing I remember the most was the very last. They're all in that line and they just stop, and they pose, and that applause. It was so loud. And it went on forever.
It did. It was a storm for about 10 minutes. It just
crazy.
And listen, Ireland's song that year was a good song, but was it a Eurovision winner? Right, because it did win the Eurovision. It was if I remember correctly, it was a song called "We Were the Rock and Roll Kids." It was a good song, it was a good solid song. But I think there were better songs that year. But that interval, right, lit a fire, right? The whole atmosphere of the place where they were filming it had changed completely. There was an absolute buzz. And I think because of that interval, that song, the Irish song, went on to win it that year.
Yeah, I think so.
Here's an interesting fact, though. That interval, that hosting that year nearly bankrupt the country.
Yes, well, I mean, Eurovision bankrupts wherever it goes. Know, it's like the Olympics.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting fact, though. But because
that's why they lost on purpose,
because Ireland have won it the most, and I still think we have the record.
Three in a row.
Yeah. Because we had hosted it 3 years in a row.
I think you had 3 in a row, then one that didn't win, and then one that won again. So it was like kind of almost 4.
But what happened is that any country then that was hosted the Eurovision would go to the RTE, which is the national broadcast that hosted it, that put it all together. because they had the most experience and they could help countries get their Eurovision right, so they wouldn't mess up, because we had won it so many times that like it was unbelievable. Now, this was a time when Eurovision still meant something. Now it's kind of gone.
It's a joke now. It's a joke. And garbage
not about the singing anymore.
Garbage. It's money. And then it's a platform for Madonna and people like that.
Not only that, I mean, even the quality. Now, the last couple of years, there has been some great songs. I have to.
Oh, there has. Yeah.
But there has been. Look, even with
dancing,
Ireland don't even get out the semi-final anymore. And even when they do get out,
Britain is always last now.
And they get we always come last. Like the Brits used to always come last when we were winning it. They'd always come last. We'd always
Garbage mentions 1994. That was the year I remember, because I loved that Francis Raffel song. We Will Be Free, whatever it was. I actually bought the CD single. I thought it was fantastic, and it came like 26th or 16th or something. I can't remember.
Seriously, that Eurovision that year was brilliant, though. Yeah, it wasn't just for Riverdance. I mean, that year there was a great talent on show. Every country had brought their A game, basically. I remember even the final vote. I think there was 3 countries or 4 countries battling right at the end of that vote, if I remember. And I think it's because we got the 12 points right at the end, a couple of 12 points right at the end. And I think we did end up pulling away then, because, but again, I do always firmly believe it was because of Riverdance. I'm not saying their song was a bad song. It's a good song. I play it still to this day. It's a lovely song, beautiful song. But there were better songs that year. But that Riverdance.
Well, I think that night cemented Ireland in the international eyes as like the land of like unicorns and magic. So they were like so enthralled and intoxicated by it.
Yeah, Irish culture. That's it. I mean, Irish culture was at the forefront. 300 million people were watching in all the European countries around the world. We were on top of our game. We were the Celtic Tiger then started to kick in. Ireland was on the rise, believe it or not. We were
you were having an economic uptick.
Fastest growing European country in Europe we were.
But that was all based on fraudulent economics, as you later found out.
If I remember,
we all did,
we also held the presidency for the European Commission, the European Union, and they've always said when Ireland has been in charge, Europe has run like clockwork. So we seem to know what we do, what we were doing back in the day. But our politicians were as corrupt as fuck back then in the 90s. You've probably heard of Charles our famous Taoiseach. He changed the political landscape.
I keep hearing about your tea shops in Ireland. They're very nice.
I know. They're not very, I know.
I call them tea shop.
Yeah, they're not the greatest people in the world. Greatest people in the world.
Garby says Israel is not Europe. No, but it's because they've because it's a franchise. I think the Eurovision, whatever the
should we get Australia in now? For God's sake. I mean,
it's because they broadcast it there, so therefore they're eligible.
See, here's the thing, though, right? If you're going to do that, then right, change the name from Eurovision to World Vision. So you can let every country, if they want to have representation.
Oh, I think it will end up that way at some point.
No, I wouldn't mind that because then.
But then it would go on for days.
I'd learn about more culture. That's what I loved about Eurovision back in the day, right? You'd listen to singers in Russia or Slovenia or Norway, Sweden, Lithuania. Like I'd never hear any of those languages. Or heard songs.
I think that's the only way we find out which new Eastern European countries there are, because they seem to pop up every other week.
Yeah, but here's the thing now. There's definitely tactical voting going on.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ireland, now it used to be bad back. It was bad back in the day. There was a lot of tactical voting. Sometimes the Brits wouldn't give us the full 12 points because tactically they wouldn't want us to win. That's just the way it was. It was just a bit of banter.
No, it's the Eastern Bloc.
Follow it up and give you even a lower score. So, and I mean, even watching it at home, we'd be laughing our heads off because the two countries be basically bantering each other in the Eurovision. Like, seriously.
Well, Greece always votes for Cyprus, and Cyprus always votes for Greece, and all these other, like the Eastern European blocs, always vote for their neighbours because they don't want to start a war.
I know, but here's the thing: not my favourite UK entry ever, right? Was Gina G. Ooh,
God.
Just a little bit. Ooh, a little bit more. I did like that song.
Jeez, no, I've spent most of my adult life because they used to play that to death in the gay clubs in the 90s. It did my absolute fucking head in. So, I mean, for me, it sends a shiver up my spine because it just, I mean, I was off my tits, so it was all right, but generally not a good place to be,
Yeah. Well, Ireland, listen, over the years, we sent Jedward over to the Eurovision. We've sent.
God, they've been piping up lately.
We've actually sent the puppet as well, called Dustin the Turkey, in a shopping trolley, by the way, which was ridiculous. We haven't
want to win that year.
Serious over the last few years, but now we're trying to take it serious again. But the problem that we face now is that it's like, I'm not going to say other countries are threatened by Ireland's entry.
If George Michael was still alive and we sent him in like this year, right, he wouldn't win. Like they would not vote for him.
No, they wouldn't. You're right. They wouldn't. And that's the thing. We brought back Niamh Kavanagh because she'd won it, thinking that if we get her,
we get points from Cyprus.
She's a legend of Eurovision. Like, she's literally a legend. All the countries love her. Like, when she went over there, they were treating her like a bloody goddess because they loved our Eurovision winners. They worshipped our Eurovision winners. Like, and when she went over, she had a great song and all. But
my favorite has got to be my favorite. My favorite has got to be what's his name? Oh God, Suchka. Is it Suchka? Verka Suchka. I think it was the dancing. Remember, like the mirror ball thing and the star in his head and the big bugle glasses. Do you remember that one? Dancing.
I don't know, man.
Oh, it's like when was it? 2006 or something.
What was the name of that band? Lord or something? You know, the one that came out like.
Oh God, no, that was that. I think that was the year before or the year after.
All right. No, I probably didn't. Yeah, I think I probably missed one, and that was the one I missed.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was like, look it up. Verka Suduchka. Love that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dancing.
Yeah. I was going to say though, Eurovision used to be a yearly thing. Even for me, when I lived on my own, I would sit because there'd be some songs that I would like.
Belgium did some really good
stuff. iTunes would, or not iTunes, whatever the app was back then, they'd release the song and you could buy the song. And I'd actually buy a couple of the Eurovision releases because they were pumping songs like.
I like that Phoenix one with the guy with the beard. Do
you remember the Russian grannies?
Yes, that was brilliant. That was so funny. That was great.
Brilliant. They nearly won it as well. They didn't win it. They nearly won it. I think Russia came second in that year or third in that year. But they were tipped to be one of the See, that's what I hate now, right? Back in the day, you wouldn't hear the song, right? The only you would nationally you would hear the song. So basically, the country that sent the singer over, that song would be released in only that country, right? So the Irish song would stay in Ireland and it'd enter the Irish charts and it'd probably reach #1, just like every other song from every other European country. It'd probably get into their charts and be #1 because it was the national song that they chose to represent the Eurovision. But now it's like you can hear the song a few months before the Eurovision starts. It kind of takes away from it, in my opinion. I think they should go back to the old format where we didn't hear any other country song until the night of the Eurovision. Because that way then, I think, on the night then, people are judging it. See, people keep listening to a song over and over and over again. They could turn out to hate the song because they've been listening to it or it gets overplayed in their.
A bit like my song.
So just like play it.
Oh, Charlotte's off. Charlotte's saying good night.
Good night, well, we're going to be heading off ourselves now because it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we've gone off the Irish.
Yeah, and I've
gone into Eurovision.
What you call it, got to have something. No, we're still doing the. It's still kind of Irish. We're just talking
from winning to.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating conversation tonight.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. Nice old chin wag.
Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Well, gotta celebrate your day of the year.
That's it, man. Thank you, and I appreciate you coming on. I also appreciate all the super chats as well, folks. Thank you, really means a lot, and everybody that has been in the chat tonight. And good night, Charlotte. I forgot to say good night there. Good night. Look after yourself. But I just want to thank everybody who has come in tonight, and I hope you have had a good time. I didn't know what I really wanted to do for this stream, but I just thought I'd come on, maybe reminisce a bit, and then see where the conversation went. So I hope you have enjoyed the stream. I know I kind of rattled on, but these are things. I'll just keep kind of giving you a little brief look at probably what my childhood was like, and I hope it's been fascinating.
It's nice to go down memory lane, and there's a lot of similar things that maybe remember things.
That's it.
Back in the day, and it kind of makes you hanker for it, really.
Yeah. If time travel was available, and they said, listen, you can time travel.
Sadly, it's impossible.
But you can't really interfere in time, but you can set up a place, but we'll make sure that we cover you financially so you don't have to ever, change the car. I would go back to the 80s. I would start at 1980. I would start right at the start of the 80s. And really,
I go back as I was, but knowing what I know now. Then I take
smart. See, I didn't even think of that myself because I'm Irish.
I see. Got to be a bit canny.
And keep doing what you do, and don't change. I certainly won't. Don't worry about that.
Well, they can try.
That's one thing that won't. Listen, I think I have kind of toned down the way I used to be on this channel. I think I've grown as a YouTuber. So yeah, I have made changes. Of course you do. You grow as a human being. You grow as a person, and I think I have. If as I said, you're always going to have people out there that don't like what you do and don't like it. That's their problem. So I will. Don't worry about that. And it has been nice reminiscing. Me too, and I love the 80s. I do. I do. It's my favorite decade. And then obviously I did like the 90s because there was a lot of great music in the 90s as well. I just want to go back for the music. I know that sounds a bit stupid. Is that the only yeah? And because people were kinder as well. It was a lot more friendly. We had threats in the world. There was bad stuff going on in the world, but people got on with it. People were a lot kinder to each other. You could literally go out and leave your hall door open all day and come home and nothing be touched in your house, your home. Nobody would even dream of going near your possessions or anything like that. It was seriously, it was a much better time. I'm not saying that it's all bad here. It's not great at the moment, but the way I look at it now is because I'm older now. Is you got to make the best of it. Life is going to throw all these things at you. There are always going to be others out there that are going to come after you. You just have to, you just get on with it. At the end of the day, as I said, your life is what you make it yourself. And if you want to stay miserable, and be triggered or be offended by everything, well then fair enough.
Life's going to hit you very hard very soon.
Life, I think that's a very miserable existence.
It is. It's interminable.
Make your life what you want, and you can choose to have a happy life, and that's what I'm choosing. That's why we do the streams that we do, the watch-alongs. That's what I'm interested in doing streams like this, talking to you openly, giving you a little bit of background about myself. I mean, I think I've been very open on this channel. And then on the Irish Geek, then we're starting to do stuff. I do my gaming streams as well, because it's something different. It's a different part of me, that you know about me. I like gaming. I like talking about Doctor Who. I like talking about other stuff. You are finding out what all my other interests are as well. And I'm finding out what you guys are like and what your interests are. And you know what? This is why I love doing what I do on this channel. And, as I said, there'll be people out there that'll always have a problem with what I do, but let them. We have a nice little community here, and yous are all great people. I've gotten to know some of yous personally. A lot of yous as well are here for every stream supporting me. So thank you. I appreciate it all. I really do. And listen, what day is it today? Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow the Schneider Cut drops. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I got my my 7-day free Now TV trial, so I'll be making the most of that.
Yeah, that's it. Do it, man. Do it. And then if you want to come on a panel, we can discuss it, because I know there'll be a lot to go through, but maybe we'll just do a short initial reaction video, just not go into too much detail, but a kind of spoiler-free review.
Well, it's going to take 4 hours to watch.
Spoiler-free review, and then they do the review. So we can do a spoiler-free, and then we can do another review as well. What did you say there? Because my chat has froze completely.
I was just saying it's a 4-hour long feature, so it's gonna be a whole chunk of your day watching.
True. And we might need a day to digest it, but I'm still gonna do it but I will do an initial reaction, because I think it'd be nice to hear what I initially think, and then afterwards, when I've had time to think about and maybe watch it again, which I will be doing. So that'll be 8 hours of me life watching this movie. I'll probably even watch it a third time. I mean, I've watched 4 hours of the Lord of the Rings, and I still have that trilogy on my old PlayStation 3, and I've watched that several times. Actually, I've watched the whole trilogy. I got up early in the morning, and I was still watching those movies by the evening, because I had the extended versions of each one.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like there's literally an hour scene in the forest. Which one is that? I think that's the Two Towers one, isn't it? I think that's the one where the hobbits are there walking through the forest with the trees. It's literally an hour scene. Like it's like, but I loved it. I loved it. Little conversation along the way. So yeah, plenty to come. Plenty to see on both channels. Remember, we've got the TARDIS Zone talks on Friday. We've also got our classic and new Who. In between that as well, we're over on the Irish Geek for a movie stream. And also, obviously, on the Irish Geek, I will be doing an initial reaction to the Schneider Cut of the Justice League. So look out for that as well. So I can't see the chat, so unless there's anything that...
Well, Chris Persia just said, sorry, I heard Noel talking about Lord of the Rings in the background. Have you heard that yet another cast member has left the new Lord of the Rings series? It seems very plagued with problems.
Yeah.
And I think the casting is probably only one of the smaller ones.
Yeah, I'm going to cover that actually on the Irish Geek, because I have heard some disturbing things about this new Lord of the Rings project that they have. And I have to say, again, if you're gonna start deviating from the source material, you're always gonna run into some issues. But look, I'm not gonna get into it on this channel. I'll get into it on the Irish Geek because that's what that's for, and I'll do it on that. But it will be very interesting. I'll read the latest stuff. I've been keeping an eye on articles from Bounding into Comics as well. So very fascinating stuff going on. But Lee, before we go, obviously, I want you to mention, of course, the brilliant. I just want to say, actually, first, congratulations, because the song has done so well.
It's charted.
Tell everybody where it currently stands in the electronic charts.
It's been up and down.
He tells you though. I just want to say that I've seen that his song has beaten songs like from Oasis, like "Stand by Me," which is an absolute brilliant.
Yeah, but these songs have been in the charts. You know,
it doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter, right? Okay, to you it might be nothing, but that is a big deal. It is a big deal, and I have to say, congratulations, because it looks like it has been a huge success. But if you still haven't gotten the tune, please do. Please
it's available on Apple Music, iTunes,
so tell everybody
Amazon.
where it stands currently in because you did two charts, didn't you? So the overall charts and then the electronic chart, wasn't it? The main chart and the electronic.
Yeah, I kind of lost track because I was more focused on the overall. I have no idea where it is at the moment.
You were placed at 60 something at some stage, weren't you?
No, it went up to, I think it got up to 73 in the UK charts. It's at 71 now.
There you go. So it's at 71 now in the UK charts. Now, that's an amazing achievement. To get into the top 100 songs in the UK mightn't be a big deal to Lee, but that is a big deal.
No, you know, this is, look, you know, growing up and, you know, eventually becoming a musician and things, you know, having various band projects and all sorts of things and all these pretentious ideas, you know, and then, you know, a comedy dance track lands in my lap and it's just like out of the blue. And poof, it's just fucking hell. I think that happens to a lot of people, you know, they do like a sort of novelty thing and it just takes off and you're like, what the fuck? You spend all this time creating all these beautiful things and it's like, oh, that's amazing. And it's like, no.
It keeps getting recreated. It keeps going and long may it continue, because as we have said, 75% goes to what's the name of the charity exactly, Lee?
It's the American, I think it's the American Institute for the Prevention of Suicide.
Yeah. Zack
Snyder's charity. Yes, 75% goes to that.
So 25% of the proceeds
of the profits go to
charity.
And I get my cut, which keeps, you know, I mean, it keeps the lights on, but it also pays for my outgoings, which I spent initially on releasing it. So exactly. I'll claw some of that back. It's just because obviously I have to keep alive somehow.
Okay, you're an artist. You know,
the AFSP, there you go, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Even though you're, you know, as I said, you're generous yourself, and as 75% to give to charity is commendable, in my opinion. And
I could have walked away with a lot, but I immediately gave as 50% to whatever charity he wanted, plus 25% to do what he wanted. So he chose to give that to the charity as well. So
fantastic. Do you want to do any shout outs before we leave? Because I'm gonna have to head off and get something to eat.
Just if you haven't downloaded the single or streamed it, please do. Even if you're on Spotify, play it on repeat. You can switch the volume off if you want. Don't care. But download it is great. If you can download it from Apple, if you have an Apple or iTunes account, that'd be great, because that counts to the chart. gives it more prominence. People can see it. Hopefully, it will get a few extra clicks from people who just hear it and think, well, that's bonkers, I'll download that. All helps. So yeah, just keep it circulating, repost it whenever you see it, from Twitter or wherever you are on social media. Share it with your friends. Maybe people won't know who it is. You can probably tell them who it is, or show them the video on Az's channel or my channel. Whatever you can, that's great. It all feeds into the pot. So that's it.
And there you go. The chart is on screen. I had to refresh because I wanted to say good night to people properly. So, and just make sure I didn't miss any important chat. I'm looking forward to your Doctor Who stuff and other stuff, Noel and Lee. No problem. And Justin Bieber fears Lee. Yeah, he's creeping up at Al Bieber.
Yeah, we surpassed him at one point.
Yeah. So
that was so funny.
So that is funny, actually.
It's crazy.
Right. I'm gonna have to go because multiple things are happening here. So I have to go to the bathroom because I need to pee because I had a big pot of coffee before I came on. Which was a very bad idea. I've been holding my pee for the last hour and a half. I don't know how I've managed to do that, but I have. And I'm also starving. I'm having some lovely steak though for dinner.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I had steak the other day. Yeah, I was on the stream and I was trying to eat my blood.
Steak and mushrooms.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. And some veg. Because I like to keep it simple. And it'll be enjoyable.
Simple is best quite often. You don't want it too fussy because otherwise you take away from the flavour of the meat.
I've got me sea salt as well, so I season the beef well as well.
Yeah,
so that's great.
Both sides.
Right. It's been great having you here, Lee. It's been great having you all in the chat. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry to Alpha and Omega for the Family Guy stuff.
Yeah, we'll tell you what,
YouTube will be dicks about that.
We'll make it up to you anyway. I mean, I couldn't risk because the channel after getting, look, I just have to be careful. I know they're on YouTube, but they probably either special permission or they're not monetized. If this stream wasn't monetized, I'd play them. If it was on the Irish Geek, I'll tell you what I'll do actually. We're on the Irish Geek tomorrow, right? So we do the movie stream. So what will happen is, what I'll do is, because it's not I will show everybody those clips on the Irish Geek tomorrow. How about that?
Yeah,
I think that's fair, right? So David Rayner says, see you next Wednesday. Well, I'm here all week. Because it's Wednesday now, isn't it? So yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm here the whole time. So come and join me. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna say goodnight now for definite. So here we go. I'm gonna play this wonderful trailer again. I mean, it was sitting there. I thought we're gonna have a bit of crack anyway, so why not use it? I think it actually suited this. We should do more streams like this, actually, where we just reminisce and call it cracking time, where we just talk about all stuff. There you go. We've sussed it. We were trying to think what kind of stream to do for the name of the video. We had an idea, but it didn't really. So there you go. That's what we'll do. Cracking time, where people can tell us, and you guys can interact as well. What we'll do is we'll put your comments up. You can tell us what your favorite thing to do and reminisce as well with us. There you go. So there, perfect.
Top questions at us.
We always have a light bulb moment. Exactly. That'll be it. About the old days. It'll be brilliant. Well, that has been cracking time. Here we can finally say it. Woohoo. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed to the Irish Geek, please do. We'll see you over there as well tomorrow. And Lee, again, thank you for. Oh my God! I just seen what you wrote on your name. I've just seen that right now. Have you had that on the whole?
I might have got the math wrong. I'm dyscalculic. I'm just going to say that outright. So it might be 1/16. I gambled.
Right, but have you had that the whole stream?
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake!
I've
only noticed it now. It's a private in-joke.
Your silence is violence.
Yeah. Roy, I'm not going to say any more because that's just absolutely hilarious. But it's a good night for me. Lee, would you like to say good night to the audience, the chat?
Good night to the audience, the chat.
Okay. There you go. He's just going to repeat. See, this is going to be a thing now forever. Roy,
might be.
We'll see you soon. Have a good one, folks. Good night.
Night.
Oh, and thanks to me moderators. I forgot. You did a great job tonight. I really appreciate it. Good night.